Kevin Durant making his long-awaited Suns home debut last night. It was a 107-100 win over the Timberwolves. KD shooting 5 of 18 from the floor, 16 minutes of play, 16 points in 29 minutes of play. Shannon, not the definition of efficiency for sure, but he was coming back from injury. Are you surprised KD shot 5 of 18?
Well, I think the thing, Skip, is that we forget that even though Kevin Durant is one of the most skilled basketball players to ever played in the NBA, he's still human. The guy's only played 4 games in 2.5 months.
Yep.
And he's at home. He's anxious. He wants to put on a good show in front of his crowd. And he said, I didn't sleep good yesterday. My nap, I didn't sleep good.
He did not.
And, you know, the anticipation, he goes 5 of 18, Skip. That's his worst shooting performance since 4 of 17, Brooklyn, game 2 of last year. So that just goes to show you that Kevin Durant is human. I'm not worried. He played 42 games this season, and he shot less than 50% only 8 times. This is very, very unlike Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant is human, and he needs to get a rhythm. He needs to get timing. I think he's coming back at the right time. He can get his rhythm back over the next 6 or 7 ball games heading into the playoffs. It is a little surprising because Kevin Durant is one of the most efficient basketball players that we've ever seen, especially a guy that normally makes his living from the outside. Yes, Skip, big guys being Shaq's efficient, but Shaq's laying the ball up and dunking on people's head. Kevin Durant shooting threes. He's shooting the mid-range game. He's getting into the paint, shooting shots like that. So, yeah, I'm a little surprised that that Kevin Durant was 5 of 18 last night, but I understand that he is human. The emotion of the ball game. This is my first game in front of the Suns, home crowd. Man, I want to put on a show. I want to show them what they got, even though they've followed my career since I've been in the NBA. I'm now one of theirs.
Yep.
And so I want this thing so bad, and you can tell he wanted it bad. And then he finished the game, Skip, going 0 for 6. So I'm not worried about Kevin Durant, but a little surprised, but not shocked that he struggled, considering, Skip, 4 games in 10 weeks.
Yep.
Hell, he should have struggled.
Okay, I agree with your human assessment. He was clearly over anxious last night because he's been there for 19 games since that fateful Thursday morning we were out in Phoenix at the Super Bowl. 19 games he could have played there, and he still hadn't played a single home game.
Right.
He'd played 3, but they were all away.
Right.
The surprise to me came off the fact that when he played the 3, as we saw, he was really good in those 3 and looked like he'd been a Phoenix Sun for 20 years.
Right.
It looked like he'd grown up with CP3 and Book, and he just, it's like he was born to play with and off, kind of opposite those two.
Right.
Because he'll blend like no superstar has ever blended.
Correct.
So it surprised me a little bit that he got to the point yesterday, to your point, he said, I couldn't get to sleep this afternoon because he was so excited about this home game. And as Devin Booker said after the game, the whole city's been waiting on this.
Yes.
Well, he felt that, and he tried to live up to it and live down to it, which was unusual, but probably predictable under the situation.
I feel sorry for the team, the next team that he played at
home. That is correct. Okay, so what I did love about what he said after the game is that I'm just glad I'm back into the zone of playing again and being around the guys and being one of the guys again, because as you know, he just lives to do this.
Right.
And he'd missed it, and now he's back in the flow of it. And so you're right. From here on, they still have 6 hard games. There's one San Antonio game, but they have 5 hard games left. And it will be fire testing for him and for them. Is it enough time for him to become the nuclear weapon that he should be in the postseason? I'm not sure about that. But I do like the way they did finish the game. You said he missed the shots, but in the fourth quarter, he took 2 threes and made 2 threes. So that was a start. And they did beat a Minnesota team that had won 4 straight. Okay, so that was a good sign because it was 107-100. They did win the fourth quarter. Well, they tied, actually, in the fourth quarter, but they held them off in the fourth quarter. Okay, so I'm looking at Phoenix last night, and I'm thinking, I still really like this team because every time I watch Okogie, he impresses me more because he fights you on defense. That's his calling card is on the defensive end. But he gave you 10 and 9 rebounds. What I didn't like is DeAndre Ayton played 29 minutes last night and gave you all of 3 rebounds.
Man, that's some bull jive.
That's some bull jive. It is.
How do you 7 foot tall.
How do you get 3 rebounds in almost 30 minutes? It's wrong. Okay, so we get that. But then I look down the line at who comes off the bench for them. Help me out. Is this not a good basketball team? Torrey Craig, Cam Payne, who had a big night last night, T.J. Warren, who's a natural-born professional scorer of the basketball, Biyombo, who's been playing with a lot of passion lately, Terrence Ross, who I've always loved as a guy who can come in and close for
he
you.
definitely can get streaky hot from the three.
Can he? And that Landale, the Australian kid, he'll come in and fight you. And then there's Damian Lee and there's Landry Shamet. Okay, that's enough depth to be a bona fide championship contender. And it all depends on, as you always say, the health of these stars. And the motor of their center, whose motor sort of matches your center's motor, which means it runs hot and cold.
Well, he's been cold really a lot. I meant to say KD started 0 of 6, but he finished shooting 28%.
Yeah, he started 0
of 6 and shot 28% from the floor. But yeah, like I said, Skip, I think as long as he can get a rhythm going. Now, I don't know who they play next at home, but if y'all think this Kevin Durant going to show up for you guys, you wrong.
Yeah, Bridge, I didn't bring it out here right now, but there's 5 hard games left.
Right.
Good hard games. So the point is that this team is now positioned to take off, but I just don't know if there's enough runway to take off because they just haven't had enough reps together.
Right.
So he's now played 4 games for the Phoenix Suns. Can you just flip a new switch? LeBron can flip a switch because he knows these guys and he's played enough with them that there's some rapport that's already established. There's history.
Yeah, I mean, he's played with Schroeder. He's played with Austin Reeves. He's played with AD. There are a couple of guys that he's played with before that he has some familiarity with. The thing that's good about D'Lo, Skip, is that D'Lo can get his own shot. He can catch and shoot. And so that's what you mainly need. You need guys that can catch and shoot because when they come to double LeBron and he can break the defense down, now he's going to kick it. You just got to make the shot. AD, same thing. They're going to have to double AD. Then AD looks fine, the open shooter. But I like the Suns. I mean, they didn't shoot the ball particularly well, Skip. They only shot 42% from the floor, 30% from the three. They was 6 of 20 from the three. Everybody was bad last night.
Yeah.
But they found a way, and that's what you have to do. On your bad nights, can we find a way to win?
Yeah. They did.
They did.
107-100. And I'm going to hang in with Chris Paul because he's in the latter stages of his career. He's not what he used to be.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
When you call upon him to make shots, and they called upon him last night, and he made 7 of 15 shots and scored 19 points, I still think with this quality of star power around him, he's going to be really good.
Yeah. But Jay McDaniels, Skip, he's a good defender now. I mean, he spent a lot of night on Kevin Durant. He's a very quality defender. He might make all defensive first team. He should be on one of the 2 teams. Anthony Edwards came back, gave him 13 of 20. Karl Anthony Towns, you know what Cat is, and that's what concerns me because it seems like because this is do they play? They play Friday. Don't Minnesota play the Lakers?
Yes, here.
No, they play in Minnesota.
Is it?
I think it's in Minnesota.
Oh, because they're in the road. That's right.
In Minnesota.
Right. You're right.
It's something about when Cat see AD, he like, we the last 2 big men in Kentucky.
Okay.
I want bragging rights.
Okay, well, maybe that's more motivation for your guy.
AD.
Yeah.
Get him.
Okay. He was talking last night about we owe a bunch of teams on this.
They do.
They owe Houston. They owe somebody else.
Minnesota.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
Because last time they played, Cat was clowning.
He was. All right.
Got something for you.
Back to the Suns schedule, gentlemen. They actually play the Nuggets not once but twice still to go. Lakers, Clippers, Thunder, and then one versus the Spurs. Lots of interesting games left and hard matchups for all these teams. Gentlemen, let's move to the NFL when we come back this morning. Lamar Jackson, he's getting some advice from Dion, and do you think he should take it? That's coming up after this break.